So we're out in front of my house. Um, I can't tell you how disappointing it was to see how the Milwaukee police handled this evening. I'm not sure if the last live saved because my battery died on my phone. We were on Hadley and MLK, which is about a block south of, maybe 2 blocks south or a block south of Locust. There was a Waukesha, city Waukesha armored vehicle there, which, I mean, just think about this, right? I mean, like an armored vehicle. It was a completely peaceful group. I didn't see any police presence. There was no engagement at all in any real way. You know, I keep going back to what I saw from the chief of police in Green Bay, watching the crowd, engaging with the crowd. He was invited to speak. He spoke. If police leadership had shown up at this rally today, they would have been invited to speak. They would have been listened to respectfully. They would have been engaged with. There was no effort. The crowd congregated at the end of the night at the Burger King on MLK and North, or sorry, MLK and Locust. And, you know, people around that intersection, there was no police control of the intersection. So when people were going through the intersection, it wasn't very safe. There were a couple hundred people in the Burger King parking lot. Again, no police presence. There was no engagement at all. Nobody was asked to disperse nicely. And then all of a sudden, a wall of police vehicles, including like, you know, armored vehicles, came east down the hill on Locust, shooting tear gas. And just shooting tear gas canisters into the crowd. We saw at least one ambulance followed by a car, so we know somebody was injured on Locust. You had the crowd then running for the, you know, for safety, cars squealing away. It made a situation that was not particularly unsafe, much more unsafe. And where I'm really disappointed, and I just want to say to the city council, the common council, including a lot of my friends who I've helped elect, I want to say to the mayor who I supported for re-election, I want to say to Chief Morales, like, why is there no engagement out here? It was a completely peaceful group of people. There was not any illegal activity. I mean, obviously, yeah, curfew was being broken. Of course, it was a protest, and that's what this is. And there was, you know, some wrong way driving, but the police were handling that, or could have handled that. In fact, it was all self-policed by the protesters themselves. I didn't see a single person get hit by a car. I didn't see, you know, I saw the couple of there was one interaction with a homeowner who was clearly intoxicated, who came out. He was talked down. People were dealt with that appropriately. The only interactions I saw tonight that were wrong were things the police did in Milwaukee. On Kenwood, I saw a police officer get out of his car and try to manhandle somebody into an arrest who I don't think even knew. I mean, the video is posted, so you guys can judge for yourself, but I don't think he even knew the cop was trying to engage with him, right? Because the cop was behind him. He could hear the siren, but I don't think he knew the cop was telling him to move. And the reason he wasn't moving is because he was actually directing traffic safely down Kramer. And then the cop tries to manhandle him. Of course, the crowd went nuts. It was out of control. And they had to retreat, which is what they should have done. It was car 187, a supervisor's car. I hope that he is disciplined for the completely inappropriate way that was handled. I mean, I just think about how, like, you know, when Dontre was killed, it was because they didn't follow procedure. And there's no procedure where if you roll up on somebody and you want them to move and they don't move, that you just reach like for their collar and just grab them and pull. That's not how this works, right? Just talk to the guy, say, hey, I want you to move. And then maybe he disagrees and there's a conversation, but he was actually providing a safety situation the cops weren't providing, in that he was trying to get traffic to move down Kramer. Then somebody else was injured. I did not see exactly what happened. What the people in the crowd said was that it was a rubber bullet. There was a police vehicle. I don't know if it was MPD or someone else. That police vehicle, that person was injured. A medic was called. The crowd gathered. A medic arrived. That person, there was a vehicle assigned for medical help. That cop retreated as well. There was never one point tonight where I saw a police officer of any agency, and I saw 6 different agencies, maybe 7 different agencies out there, try to interact with the crowd in any sort of positive way. Like we have seen, you know, in Oklahoma City, the sheriff's department kneeled out of respect. You have police officers in Tennessee, police chiefs, calling this murder and engaging with the protesters. And in Milwaukee, it's like, you know, tear gas. This is not how we do things the right way, and especially when there was not any behavior, you know, a bunch of people congregating in a fast food parking lot. chanting "No justice, no peace" and Black Lives Matter is not occasion for tear gas. It just isn't. And you know, look, I'm standing in I'm in my house in a safe neighborhood on the east side. Alderman Kovac, your friend, I supported you. I put your sign in my yard. I want answers. Jose, you're my good friend. Alderman Perez, Alderman Bauman, you're my friend. President Johnson, I was proud to support you and work with you. Alderwoman Zamaripa, Alderwoman Dimitrievich, Alderwoman Dodd. We need answers. This is not how we should be engaging. And I'm not saying there haven't been problems in the city, and I'm not saying there haven't been people who've behaved inappropriately, that there hasn't been some looting or property damage. But if it is the police that is escalating, that is the problem. That's the problem. All right, so we got to go find Sanjeev and get him home. He was on foot. Ro and I were on bikes, so we're gonna go. I might be on again later, but it is time for there to be some accountability. And what people care about, this is a very young, very multiracial group, and what they care about is to see a country and a city that are ready for justice and not for punitive action. So let's make it happen.